was being held in Belarus, the key ally of Russia, of Vladimir Putin. Just yesterday, he was abruptly pardoned after being sentenced to death, supposedly for helping Ukraine. That was a clear indication that potentially he was going to be part of this exchange. The belief is that German citizens had to be involved because ultimately one of the key people that Vladimir Putin has said he wanted for this exchange was a man called Vadim Krasikov, who we've been talking about. He's this man who was convicted of being a Russian assassin, an assassin for the FSB in Germany. He was convicted of killing a Kremlin opponent in Berlin. And so the belief was that some German citizens would have to be traded in order to try and make it more palatable for Germany, giving up someone who was very dangerous in order ultimately to try and release other citizens, in particular American citizens. We're also, I should say, we've been watching for the last few hours planes on the tarmac in Turkey's capital, Ankara. We've been seeing a Russian government plane that flew there and was suspected to be potentially involved in this exchange, to be carrying some of the prisoners. We're now watching that still sitting on the tarmac, and a number of jets have pulled up alongside it. The belief is that that is where the exchange is taking place, and that it's taking place on the tarmac there. Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I want to go ahead and read a statement put out by the family of Paul Whelan, the former U.S. Marine that was being held there in Russia for about 5.5 years. The family spokesperson putting out a statement saying Paul was a Russian hostage for 2,043 days. Would imagine they were counting down the days until his return. The statement goes on to say, thanks for covering Paul's story and helping us share our messages and advocacy for his release over that time. Paul will be receiving U.S. government support, as all freed hostages do in the next few days and weeks. I hope you will give him some privacy as you have done with other released hostages. The statement goes on to say, the spokesperson says that his work as the family spokesperson is now over. Jonathan Franks here, who has worked with representing many hostage families, including the family of Trevor Reed. As we look at this statement, how does that sit with you? This is a moment they have been waiting for, as they note in the statement, 2,043 days. That's how long Paul Whelan was in that Russian jail, and now he is finally free. What do you think they're going through right now?
You know, I think they're probably a little bit dazed, overjoyed. That's listening to that brought a little tear to my eye, because the Whelans are actually who asked me to represent Trevor Reed back in the day. So I feel like they've had a huge impact on my life, not that it's about me, but to see Paul and to hear from them finally, you know, a confirmation statement. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah, very, very joyous moment. I want to reset the stage here. We are watching, you are watching ABC News Live special coverage of breaking news. We are watching Evan Gershkovich and former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan as they are now free after being detained in Russia. A senior Biden administration official tells ABC News Russia has agreed to a multi-country swap between 6 nations involving 24 prisoners. President Biden is expected to address the nation shortly. ABC's Patrick Reevell has been covering these detained Americans since the very beginning. We've been checking in with him throughout the morning. We want to check in with ABC News contributor and former Homeland Security official Elizabeth Newman. Elizabeth, we have been speaking about this all morning long. This is so significant, but detail for us how significant this multi-country swap really is for this country here in the U.S.
Look, this hasn't happened at this size and scale since the Cold War.